The Speaker of the House is pulling out all the stops to make sure that we, the American public, never get to see the Epstein files, going so far as to tell voters in Arizona that they can't, their candidate isn't going to be seated in the House. Can the Speaker actually tell voters that they got it wrong? What is going on with Congress? I'm Paul, U.S. Army combat veteran. Let's talk about it. So, as you guys know, the Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, and avowed Christian, and apparently also someone committed to protecting whoever's in the Epstein files, who that could be is anyone's guess, has literally gone so far as to actually refuse to seat a member of Congress. Now, you may recall that in a democracy, the Speaker of the House does not actually appoint members of Congress. In fact, it is voters who vote for their member of Congress, and then that member of Congress has to, serve. It's not a choice. It's not a suggestion. But apparently it is, because Adelita Grijalva, this is the winner of a special election held in Tucson, Arizona, after her father passed away. She took the seat and is supposed to be sworn in by the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. But 2 days later, she actually flew home to Southern Arizona saying, hey guys, I wanted to try to represent you, but the Speaker of the House told me that I wasn't even going to be allowed to be seated. Now, this is a huge deal, and I'm really shocked that this is not getting more story, because, the Trump administration includes words like constitutional, democracy, equality, all over so much of their propaganda stuff. And yet, well, this is an elected representative, and they're not even being allowed to sit in Congress, right? And she's apparently trapped in a purgatory of being called representative-elect, but, and again, has an office with her name on it, but she's not being issued the keys. And it's because of one simple thing. It's because, right, she's not going to give the Democrats a majority in the House. Republicans still control that very comfortably. Her father was a Democrat. She's a Democrat. But crucially, she will be the final signature on a petition that would force a vote on legislation to release all files related to Jeffrey Epstein. Because you may recall that there are actually a few key members of the House who are essentially flipped on President Trump, saying, listen, I don't care if you're Jesus Christ himself. If you're in the Epstein files, we're going to release him. Or frankly, but again, but to be clear, Donald Trump has said that they are a hoax, that he doesn't appear in the files, which of course you'd think he would clamor to release them. So this is absolutely insane. But her arrival will, of course, allow to would let this the Epstein files get released. And so you see, just like the scale of corruption and hiding and doing everything but just letting the American public see for themselves. Also, look at how many other terrible things the president has done, and we've just given him a pass on it. So like, why would you think that you can't just do horrific things to kids and your supporters are also going to just be like, that's cool, Like, this is a guy who, took a $400 million bribe from the Qataris and then gave the Qataris essentially U.S. military protection. And we're all just like, great, America first, baby. So it's difficult to comprehend, but we're going to talk about some of the backlash here against Speaker Johnson. But first, I wanted to mention that, of course, if you guys haven't gotten your Strike gum, we're having our fall sale, okay? Each piece of Strike gum has the caffeine equivalent of an entire energy drink, but 0 sugar. So if you want to take advantage of our 2-for-1 deal, literally buy 2 of whatever, a tray, a pack, you get 1 free. And it stacks with free shipping, but it's only at strikegum.com, link in the description. Okay, so there's been a huge bipartisan backlash against Mike Johnson, not the least of which because Mike Johnson is an evangelical Christian, again, who, boy, man, I would not want to have to go meet God and explain this one. Well, you see, I protected the serial philanderer, the man who threatened to shoot people, the man who slashed aid to the poor. But it was really important to protect him and make sure that American voters didn't get to learn what he did to those kids. I'm sure. I'm sure that Bronze Age carpenter is going to be like, yeah, you're right. It is important. Like, Donald Trump was an important guy. It makes sense that that you allowed him to victimize all those people. Which, by the way, I'm saying it's all alleged, but until release those files, and I won't have to say it, right? Right? Just disprove me. Just drop the files and just prove that I'm wrong. Of course, Thomas Massie, a Republican from Kentucky, who, to his credit, man, he's got his convictions. They're not necessarily mine, but boy. Now, in fact, in some cases, the House is actually adjourned. Now, you might recall that the government is currently shut down because no one is funding it. And instead of negotiating to, and keeping lawmakers in D.C., Johnson also sent them all home. Now, people said, of course, Johnson, are you keeping the House out of session to avoid the vote? He said that's totally absurd. This has nothing to do with it. It's another red herring. Right? He says, I want every page of the Epstein files out too, just as much as you guys. I just refuse to actually make it happen. Right? And Johnson, of course, tacking on another week to the chamber's 2-week-long recess, in part to pressure Senate Democrats to accept the GOP's funding bill. Again, kind of stupid. But just this whole thing is just such a farce. And it's bad when even Chuck Schumer sounds like it sounds like he's making a cutting point, saying Johnson and House Republicans care more about protecting the Epstein files than protecting the American people. That's an actual good soundbite, which is literally the first time that I've heard every time Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries open their mouths, they sound like an email from HR. And I'm like, how? It's just proof that if you have enough fucking money, you can elect a ham sandwich in this country. Just the most uncharismatic people on God's earth. And again, I support what they're doing. So, right, you can tell there's 4 Republicans who have flipped. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, and also worth noting, members have been sworn in the House before. For example, GOP reps Randy Fine and Jimmy Patronis took office just 24 hours after they were elected in April. But of course, those were Republicans who helped Republicans. Once you can hurt Republican objectives, or really MAGA objectives, well, all of a sudden, there's no time to seat you. Anyway, guys, hit that subscribe. I appreciate it. Huge thank you to our Colonel tier members. AL90, James Force, Steve Moran, Doug Beck, William Alex, Henry Roussier, and all of our Lieutenant tier members. See ya. Cheers.